Hello, boys and girls. Miss Robin here again, and welcome to another exciting Earth Keepers episode. And today we're going to talk about birds and how birds have their babies and raise their young. Specifically, I'm going to be showing you how my mourning dove birds, who made a nest in my flower basket on my balcony, fed their babies. You're going to get to see that a little later. So let's pretend that these two birds, which are really cardinals, here's the mommy and the daddy, are the mourning doves. And what they do first when it's spring, all the daddies come out and they look and see if your yard is a good yard for them to raise a family. They look very carefully to see if you have great trees that will give them shelter from any bad weather that might occur. They also look to see if there's any predators. And remember, predator is a word that means animals that might want to eat their babies or them, like hawks, eagles, dogs, coyotes, things like that. So once the daddy sees that he's found a good yard for the mommy to come and build a nest, then he goes over to the mommy and singing coo, coo, because that's what the mourning doves sing. Then he flies in circles around her. That tells her that he's found a good spot. So then, if she likes his pretty song that he sings, then they will come and they will clean each other's feathers, and he will show her where he's picked it out. And he will show her, like my doves did, that he found a flower basket that was on my balcony. She will look very carefully and see, is it sturdy enough for her babies? Is it protected enough from the elements? Are there any predators around? And if she likes it, then she'll tell the daddy bird to go help her get some material to build her nest. So as the daddy goes and gets some twigs, the mommy's quick building with all the different grasses and the twigs. She builds her nest very carefully. And the daddy comes and gives her the twigs, and then she puts it in her nest. That's how mourning doves build their nest. And then the mommy will sit on her nest and wait. Because if it's a mourning dove, then the mommy will lay a white egg like this. Now, it will be a lot smaller than this. And mourning doves usually lay two, one on the first day and the second one on the second day. And so when the mommy lays that first egg and the daddy comes back to see if she needs anything more, she shows him the egg and he gets all excited. And then he joins her in keeping the egg warm and safe. And then the mommy will take a break and go and get some food. Mourning doves like to eat seeds, so she'll look around for some seeds. And then she'll come back and the daddy will go get some food. Now the mommy bird is very careful to turn her egg so that all parts of the egg stay warm. And the mommy and the daddy will take turns getting their food and keeping their baby egg warm and safe. Now what if we could take that egg though, and we could look inside this egg? Wouldn't you like to see how the baby grows in this egg? So, the very first day the mommy lays the egg, this is what is happening in that egg. If we look here, we see all this yellow, which is the yolk part of the egg. This is the food for the growing baby, which on the first day just looks like a little red blob, very tiny, you can see. All right, but remember, then the mommy and daddy are going to keep that egg warm and safe. And another couple days later, this is what that egg looks like. The baby's now started to look like a little baby bird. And you can see that some of the yellow is missing because the baby's eating all that food to grow big and strong. And so then, as the mommy and daddy keep the baby egg warm and safe, a couple more days later, look what happens. There, now we have a baby bird that we really can see all the parts of. Now there's no feathers on the baby bird, but you can see the beak, the eyes, and the little claws. And again, you can see that the yellow yolk is getting smaller and smaller. Now, what if we could look and see on the very last day what was happening inside this egg? Would look like this. There's no more yellow. That baby bird ate all its food up. And the baby bird grows something very special on the tip of its beak. It's called an eye tooth or an egg tooth. And that tooth is going to chip away at this egg all the way around. And then once it pops, its head pops that first part off, then the daddy takes that egg and flies really far away and throws that eggshell far away to confuse any predators that might want to find the nest and the baby. And then the mommy and the daddy wait carefully for the rest of the baby bird to emerge from the eggshell. And when the other half of that eggshell comes off, then the mommy takes it and flies in the opposite direction and drops off that piece of egg to again confuse the predators. And so then they have their baby bird, and the baby bird is hungry and cold. Remember, it doesn't have very many feathers. And so the mommy goes quickly and gets some seeds while the daddy keeps watch over the baby. And she makes pigeon milk. And this pigeon milk is what she feeds the baby. The baby opens up its beak, and the mommy pushes the pigeon milk right down the baby's throat. All right, and then the mommy keeps watch, and the daddy goes out, and he makes pigeon milk too. And he comes back and gives the baby some more. That's the first day. But remember, on the second day, baby number 1 is all hatched out, but baby number 2 is starting to come out. And they do the same thing. They move the eggshell far away. And when that second little baby is out, very hungry, then mommy and daddy have a big job to do. They both have to go get lots of seeds to make pigeon milk for their babies. And they take turns doing this, keeping them safe and warm as the babies grow their feathers and get bigger and stronger. And so what happened with our little babies is, one of the days we had a lot of tornadoes and winds. You might have even been without power on that day. And so the little basket really rocked in the wind. And when I woke up one morning, the next day, I saw the daddy bird, the daddy dove, right by my balcony door, guarding it. And I thought that was sort of strange. And when I looked up into the basket at the nest, there was only one baby bird in the nest. The other had fallen out in the windstorm and landed on the balcony rug. And sure enough, when I peeked under my big bench on my balcony, that's where the baby was, safe and sound. So the baby then tried to fly up onto the top of the cushion, and that's where the daddy encouraged it to go, and they snuggled together on top of the cushion. But remember, there was the other baby still in the nest. And that baby saw the daddy and its sister on that bench, and he wanted to join them. And so it was still too early for him to be able to fly really well. So when he jumped out of the basket, he flapped his wings, but no, he didn't fly. He fell straight down into my pot of purple flowers. Luckily, the flowers were growing really well and bushy, and they made a nice cushion for him, and he just sort of bounced right onto the rug. And that's where the daddy and his sister found him, and they went up onto the top of the bench all together, sort of snuggling in. And when the mommy came back, there was no babies in the nest. She had to feed the babies on the cushion of the bench. And lucky for you, I was able to film this. So you're going to be able to see the mommy bird as she feeds the two babies, and the daddy bird's there in the front too. So enjoy this video. Wasn't that interesting, boys and girls? Wasn't it neat to see how the mommy gets right into the baby's beak and feeds her babies just like that? And now our baby dove stayed on the balcony just one day, and then the mom and dad moved them to a nearby tree. And you might find that in your yards, there's a lot of baby birds that are in the grass. Don't be worried about these, because a lot of baby birds, they have to get bigger and stronger until their wings can really fly for them. And the mommies and daddies will find them and will be feeding them in the grass. So don't pick them up and put them back in nests. Let the mommies and daddies feed them. Usually with doves, the mommies and daddies will feed them in the tree or in the grass, wherever they end up, for about a week or 2 weeks. And so they grow their wings and they practice flying, and then they can be out on their own. And I know lots of you have birds that you are watching in your yards. I know Travis has baby doves that he's watching. Millie was watching a nest. And I'm sure many others of you have also seen all the birds as they're making their nests and they're feeding their babies. And you can probably hear some of the babies chirping for their moms and dads because they're hungry and they're ready to practice flying and having all sorts of fun outside. So enjoy going outside and looking for the birds, and look forward to our next Earth Keepers adventure, where if it's warm enough, we'll be taking Hoppy to the pond.